I see. Can I get to the Congressman Steven Palazzo? Morning, sir. How are you? I got to hit the button here. Ding, ding, ding. There we go. Button has been officially hit. You there, sir?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Paul. How are you doing?
What's going on? Are you back in Washington? Or are you headed that way?
Well, I'm actually I'm in Mississippi. We're in what they call the August recess, but it doesn't feel like a recess.
Yeah.
A lot of people think we take a lot of vacations, but we really don't, Paul. We're here. I know some of my colleagues went up there the other day to stand mainly our veterans. Our military veterans in Congress to call out Biden and his atrocious Afghanistan policy. But I've been really busy past 4 days with Hurricane Ida.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask you. There was a lot of meetings going on and people gathering in Washington during the recess. Well, let me take a moment here and ask you, what does it look like along the coast this morning?
Well, coastal Mississippi did really well. There's some isolated flooding incidents. I noticed D'Iberville along the Chuticabuffa River. It's not even in the flood zone, but there was homes flooded. Sand over the beaches. It's going to be cleaning up the highways, but very minimal damage. I was talking to the Coast Guard almost immediately after they did a couple of oversight flights, and they couldn't see much from the air. My staff and I have been in touch with all the emergency operations centers and the mayors, and they're really, to be honest, they're like, hey, we were slapped by Ida, but Louisiana was punched and kicked and scratched, and so hey, get over there and help our Houdat brothers in Louisiana recover. I mean, we're gonna help Mississippi recover, obviously, but it's this. I would have to say this was Louisiana's Katrina. You remember what the beaches looked like? You remember the homes along the beach? Well, we're talking about parishes that are looking like that. Not just coastal, a stretch of the coastal beach, but we're talking about entire parishes.
You got to wonder what it would look like had they not made those major improvements in the pumping situation and on the gates and everything else that they did. What would New Orleans look like this time around had they not made those improvements?
Yeah, it have flooded.
Yes,
again.
yes.
That's what happens when you build
the 9th, 10th, and 11th ward.
Yeah, and but New Orleans, Metro New Orleans, Jefferson Parish. I mean, they took a hit. The pumps actually worked. I mean, the American taxpayers have put up over almost probably $20 billion as a result of post-Katrina recovery efforts because of the absolute failure of the pumps. And they never thought they needed redundancies, and obviously the pumps failed, the levees were breached. Grand Isle devastated. I know a lot of people from South Mississippi like to spend a weekend or two there and go out and go fishing. It's devastated. And it's just, that's just all along southeastern Louisiana. I mean, it's destroyed. But another huge concern of ours, and of course the Coast Guard was really fast at getting the port of Pascagoula open because we got a major Chevron refinery there. Gulfport, huge amount of commodity goods come through there. They're able to get those two ports open. They're working on Port Bienville, but what concerns me the most is the Mississippi River. It had a huge, I want to say, 18 line,
power line,
power line. Fall into the Mississippi River. I mean, there's tugboats, there's barges. I mean, probably over 200 barges busted loose. Locks are damaged. Some locks, obviously you got to have the locks are electric and there's no power. So that's going to affect, our economy to an extent. So hopefully
I can't even imagine what that looked like when it was going down because number one, I've fished and hunted the river, deer hunting on the river where there was not too well. As a matter of fact, at one point we used had a great deer stand up on the concrete blocks of one of those things. But I can't imagine it falling into the river. How difficult it's going to be to get the cranes in there and to get all that things done. So it's not going to be a short-term situation. Let me turn attention to Afghanistan and just
real quick, Paul,
Sure.
before we do. Again, Louisiana's suffering tremendously right now, and just like we were after Katrina. Think of what you would need if you have no power and no water, and I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to help our neighbors to the west, and you just remember, sanitizer, water, gas, generators, baby supplies, pet supplies, but I wouldn't send clothes. That's the one thing I noticed after Katrina was like clothes. There was a mountain of clothes that went to waste because people don't need clothes, but they do need, or they need the essentials to survive.
Look, I'm looking at some pictures from up in the Northeast. It looks like widespread tornadoes there. I mean, they're getting some devastation all the way up there. So this thing packs a punch.
We're not going to forget Ida. I mean, we're never going to forget Camille or Katrina, but Ida is going to be on everybody's mind for a while. It was horrific. And also, I hope, and I know most Mississippians know this, but keep your thoughts and prayers for those two who perished in the bridge or the road collapse in George County. And I think there's 10 people in critical condition still because of the sinkhole that was created because of Ida. Just pray for them and their families. Are
you getting any calls in your office, your congressional office, as far as any contacts left behind or concerns about people? We've talked to Trent Kelly, we've talked to Roger Wicker, and I know Senator Wicker said that they're working actively with some people associated with the missionaries who have been left behind by Joe Biden. We got one stupid story in here also. We tried to get those dogs back. And I have the story here, and I'll read it a little bit later on, but they would not let some of those service dogs be pulled out of Afghanistan because some of them had some injuries in the line of duty, and there's some type of government red tape that says an injured dog can't fly.
Wow. Well, I haven't heard that, but based on the government and what I've seen under the Biden administration for the past 8 months, I mean, they're totally incompetent. But when it comes to the main thing that we have is we have Mississippians who have served in the military, and they have interpreters and their families over there that are stranded. The bureaucratic red tape. I mean, we don't have to transport these people immediately to America or give them citizenship. There's so many other countries that would receive them, house them, feed them until we could vet these people. And again, they don't have to come to America. They go anywhere possibly in the world if we worked out a relationship. But we walked away from them. We walked away from America. I mean, this is the most inept operation I've ever seen. You pull your military out before you pull the Americans out. We betrayed, basically all of our allies. I mean, they were shocked. I guess they just didn't believe Biden was going to pull out.
Yeah.
But when he actually said, "Hey, we're out of here on the 31st," I mean, it just obviously everybody went into huge panic mode. But our allies, our UK, our Brits, our Aussies, everybody were shocked, and so we betrayed them. We betrayed the Afghans. And what really concerns me, Paul, is the credibility going forward. Are these countries going to partner with us? Are they going to believe in us? I don't think so. And on top of that, it's shameful. It's basically a huge stain on America and America's reputation.
Nobody ever talks about this, but it was subjective. But why September 1st? I mean, what was that date, 31st? Who put that date on there? Wasn't it Biden?
We're asking those questions, Paul. Nancy Pelosi did not want to respond to our inquiries last week into an investigation into Afghanistan because it's a huge mess, and we're going to find out the answers.
Let me tell you this. Here's why.
I guess the Taliban told them to leave.
Apparently so. Yes, here's why this is critical, and I'm telling you as a congressman, this is why this is critical for this country. Now think about it. If Biden says it was total unanimity and all the generals were in one accord, this was the right. He got advice from every general. If that's the case, then something's going on, and who's pulling the strings behind the scenes for some of these generals? And then if he's lying and he's not taking some of their advice, do we have a guy who's mentally incapacitated or continues just to make these wrong decisions? But one way or the other, boy, if there was ever a need for hearings for the future of our country, hearings are demanded now, and I don't think we're going to get them because Nancy Pelosi, like you said, is not going to have that. It's always good to have you on, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Steven Palazzo.